Okay, I've got some easy fillet mixed up and put in the bag. If you haven't seen how I do it, go back to some of my earlier videos. Okay, I'm going to squeeze a little bit in here, and then where's my cardboard? I'll use the model. And then take push it into that gap. And then sight down the inside of the dagger trunk opening. Keep an eye out for it when it comes through on the other side. I'll keep doing that and come back. Okay, I've got it all filleted in. I used a tongue depressor for the radius, and it gives me a nice size. I'll go ahead and let that cure, and then I'll give it a good sand, and then I will, I'll work on the seats, because I'm not quite certain how I'm going to do this part, whether or not I have to do like the O&P. I'll go ahead and tape the perimeter of the Daggerboard trunk where it meets the hull a little later. I need to get some more of the seating done to see whether or not I need to leave some openings on either side of the Daggerboard trunk for my feet when I'm sitting in the bow seat. I had to do that on the O&P pod, if you see some of those photos from some of the earlier videos, and I need to find out whether or not I need to make a footwell in the aft seat for when you're sitting in the middle seat, the row too. So that'll be done later once I figure things out. I have one layer of easy fillet applied and cured, and I've sanded it down. Now I'm going to add another layer to make the fillet a little bit bigger. I'm going to go without glassing this joint this time, and just put in a bigger easy fillet. But then things change. So I'm going to go with a thicker easy fillet on the wood filled epoxy in here, and make it just a little bit bigger and a little thicker. Well, I have my second coat of easy fillet on the which is a wood filled epoxy with all the good stuff in it. I swear by this stuff. This is so consistent and smooth, and it's easy. You get always get a good application when you get done with it. So I'm really happy with that stuff. So I got my second coat on now, and I have a great big smooth fillet. I'll sand down in probably about 2 days at the temperature. You can see it's cold. Probably 2 to 3 days. I'll sand it down, and then I'm done with it. With that joint, there's so much easy fillet wood filled epoxy there that I'm not going to glass tape the joint. So I'm going to go on now to fit on the seat bars for the middle seat, and then this will determine the height for the rest of the seats in the boat. And I was doing some measurement, and I'm going to leave this open like I did on the O&P pod. Put a couple little tanks on the side with a hatch in the middle here. We'll see it when we get around to it. So continue on. Now that we have the Daggerboard trunk installed, and the easy fillet around the base is all shaped with 2 layers of the easy fillet around there, and it has a nice smooth shape to it. Now you have to come in, or at least on this boat, or it's a lot of my boats lately, and start installing the 2x2s that become the framework for the seat. They don't necessarily bear the brunt of the weight, because there'll be plywood braces coming up along the bottom that'll carry a lot of the loads. And because of the way the seat is set up on this, like the O&P pod, which I did before, I'm going to be leaving this open on either side of the Daggerboard trunk, so I'll have room for my feet when I'm sitting in the bow seat, the row, when there's somebody sitting in the stern seat. So that'll be open, and I'll put in a vertical panel in through here and 2 side panels to box that in, and there'll be a hatch here. I'm going to be using the new pop-out hatches that Chuck has done at Duckworks, as opposed to either the threaded ones, which are 1 grain of sand and they're over with, or the the quarter turns, which I had been using, but you know, you can open them up, but then you can't pull the damn things out. So I've got the 2x2s in here. This aft one is a little more straightforward because it doesn't have any hull shape in it. It's pretty much just a bevel vertically. Now the forward one was problematic because you have bevels this way and there's a slight bevel. The bow side is closer together than the aft side of the 2x2 is. And I've got some gaps in here, and I'll show them to you on a resetup. But I don't worry about gaps because I can either jam in some Gel Magic when I glue it in place and then use Easy Fillet around the perimeter, just push it in with a putty knife until it oozes out the other side and let it set. I've also got a couple screws through the outside to hold it in place now that I know it's level, and to also line it back up after I've got the Gel Magic installed on the ends in order for it to cure up. I also brought out my big heavy duty straight edge here. Well, it's a big heavy duty piece of oak with a nice straight cut on it. And I wrapped my pencil bobs around it so that they are hanging right on the edge. And I line them up and then take my tape measure and measure off from a known side. I got a one of our station line cut marks right here, and it's about 2 inches, and you measure it off equal distance ahead of that line. And then that gives you a reference on making sure the 2x2 is lined up side to side, 90 degrees to the hole. And it comes out square with the, I use my Raptor square, it comes out square with the Daggerboard Trunk. Once that's in place, then I'll come across and then measure out and set the forward seat panel to be 12 inches overall width from the back aft edge to the forward edge of the 2x2s. And then that will set that, and I'll glue that in place with either Gel Magic, most likely Gel Magic, and then finish up the edges with the Easy Fillet. And then once that's in, then I'll go on. But let me go ahead and get some stuff done and come back. There's a few gaps in here along the sides that I'll fill in with Easy Fillet. And then underneath here, there's a little bit of gap. I'm going to cut a piece of 16th inch plywood out and then set it in there. I wouldn't necessarily have to do that either. I could just mix up some Easy Fillet and set it in and let it squish into place. And I've got some long stainless steel screws that I'm going to mount through here as a guide also. And a little bit of mechanical strength. So let me get on with it and we'll be back. Okay, this is what I mean by taking your putty knife and pushing it in. A little excess around and just keep working it in. You'll see it bubble out on the other side. And once you got a good bubble out, then rag and clean up any excess on the exposed parts. The parts inside and underneath will get covered up by the panels. So try to pull all the visible stuff out. And then this here will be covered by plywood, so be like the same thing as using straight epoxy on it. Okay.